Now, good day, good day, good day. Now, welcome back to our Plus One tutorial. If today is the first time you are visiting my channel, make sure you like the video, then you share. Make sure that you turn the notification bell on so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first person to get it. Now, at this particular time, we are still talking about the trigonometry ratios. Now, if you want to be very good at trigonometry ratio, make sure you follow me very well, and then all the videos I'm talking about, they are all going to sum up to help you to be able to understand trigonometry very well. Now, this higher angles is very, very important. Now, let's look at how we can solve higher angles. Now, higher angles, we're talking about angles that are bigger other than the special angles. Yes, the special angles. We talk about special angles, an angle of 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and then 90 degrees, right? Yes. Now, these are the special angles. Now, make sure that go and check the previous one before you come here. Yes. Now, these are the special angles. Now, let's look at higher angles. Higher angles is how we can find the value of a particular angle which is higher other than the special angle. Yes. Now, so what we have to do is that we need to try. We can't convert all of them though, because we can only, what we have to do that we can only convert them into special angle. When they give you higher angle above 90 degrees. Any angle above 90 degrees is a higher angle. Yes. 360 degrees, above 360 degrees, they are all higher angles. Now, so if you want to find higher angles, we can go through the same process based on the previous video to get the value of the higher angle you're looking for. So first, we need to make sure that we break it down to a special angle. And special angle is something that everybody knows. Yes. Now let's look at how the thing is, how we can convert a higher angle to a special angle. Now let's look at something. Okay, let's look at this particular question. Now I'm going to solve this particular question first, which is part of the, so what is the value without using calculator? Okay. Without using calculator, find the value of the following. Now, A, we are going to find a higher angle like sine 120 degrees. Now, if we have sine 120 degrees, how can we find the value of sine 120 degrees without using calculator? So what we have to do is that we need to convert it to a special angle. Yes, a special angle between 0 is known. A special angle like 45 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, yes, in that order. Yes. Now let's look at how we can do it. Now don't forget that we said it already that if we have on the Cartesian plane, when we are reading the angles are read in the anti-clockwise direction. The angles are already read in anti-clockwise what? We read the angle in anti-clockwise direction. That is, we move this way. And this place is 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and 360. Now, so if I want to find the sine 120 without using calculator, I need to consider my cast. Don't forget the cast. Now, don't forget that when we have a cast like this, now when the angle falls here, all the three equations are positive, and this one is an acute angle. Now, when the angle falls here, only sine is positive. When the angle falls here, only tan is positive. And when the angle falls here, only cosine is also positive. Now, let's look at it. Now, 120. Now we can find sine 120, we can find cos 120, we can find tan 120. Follow me closely. Now sine 120. Now let's read 120. Don't forget, here is 90. Here is 0. Here is what? 180 degrees. Now I'm going to solve them without using calculator and look at it very well. Now let's read 120. Now here is 90, right? But I need 120. So this one is 90. I need to add 30 to 120, 30 to 90 before I can get 120. You get it? So let me move from here to here. Assuming here is 30. And then this side is 90. It means from here to here is our 120 degrees. I hope you are following. Our from here to here is the 120 degrees. So first we read it. Here is 90. We are reading 120. Here is 90. And then we need 30 to add to 90 before we can get our 120. So from here to here is, let's say, our 120 degrees. Now, after finding 120 degrees, look for the angle along the x-axis. Now, this one is forming in the second quadrant, right? Now, what is the angle along the x-axis? The angle along the x-axis will be here. Don't forget, this side is 30 degrees. Then here is supposed to be 60. So the angle along the x-axis here is 60 degrees. When you are able to get the angle along the x-axis, that is all, you are done. So let's look at it. So sine 120, this one should be the same as sine 60. Why? Because this is the acute angle in the second quadrant. Sine 120 is forming the second quadrant. So the angle along the x-axis is 60. So it means that anytime we find sine 120, we are going to get the same answer as sine 60. And what is sine 60? Sine 60 is a special angle, right? And which is root 3 out of 2. Now, we are not done. Don't forget that this one is in the second quadrant. And in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. So it means that if I'm looking for cos 120, the angle along the x-axis will be 60. So cos 120 will be the same as cos 60. Cos 60. Now look at something. This one is the angle in the second quadrant. And at the second quadrant, the cosine is negative. So I need to negate this one. I hope you are following. Now, this 60 is a special angle, so it's supposed to be in your head. So we have negative cos 60 is 1 out of 2. So the answer for cos 120 is negative 1 out of 2. The answer for sine 120 is the same as cos 60 is sine 60, which is the same as what? Root 3 out of 2. Now, if I want to find tan 120, now since we've been able to find the acute angle along the x-axis, we are going to generate this one, the same as what? Tan 60. But why tan 60? 120 is in the second quadrant. So in the second quadrant, tan is supposed to be negative. So I need to negate this one. I need to negate it. Then what is tan? Tan 60. Tan 60 is root 3, right? Root 3. So I'm going to get negative root 3. Tan 60 is root 3. You can confirm from here. Tan 60 is root 3. So negative root 3. You see how the thing is? You need to be smart. Read the angle, read the angle in the anti-clockwise direction. Then you check the angle in that particular quadrant. That is along the x-axis. Along the x-axis. Yes. Now let's look at the next one. So sine 120 the same as sine 60 because 60 is the angle along the x-axis, which is equal to root 3 out of 2. So then this is how we can. Now let's solve for B. Now let's say we are looking for cos 150 degrees. Now don't forget 150 degrees is also a higher angle. So we need to break it down, convert it to a special angle. How do we convert to a special angle? We need to draw. I don't want to use any formulas here. Yes, we need to draw. Now, the moment you are not able to convert this one to an acute angle or a special angle, everybody will know that you punch it on the calculator. Yes. Now, so let's see. Let's read 120. Don't forget, here is 0, here is 90, here is 180. So 150 degrees will be in the second quadrant. Don't forget, from here to here is 90. Now, here is 90. We need what? We need 60 to add up to 90 before we can get a 150. So plus 60. So let's say from here to here is 60. 60. It means that we have 90 plus 60, which is what? 150 degrees. Here is 90. 150 degrees. Now check the angle along the x-axis. Now the angle along the x-axis will be here, which is 30 degrees. So I can say that cos 150 degrees is the same as cos 30. Why 30? 30 is the angle along the x-axis. Now let's look at this one. Now this angle 150 is forming in the second quadrant. And then in the second quadrant, cosine is negative. So I need to negate this one. I hope you are following. Yes. Now what is cos 30? 30 is a special angle. So cos 30 is root 3 out of 2. So the answer to this one is negative root 3 out of 2. You can confirm your calculator. The moment you point this one from here to here, you will know that you use calculator. Now, because sometimes when they give you an equation, you need to derive or deduce answers to that particular variable or that particular angle. Deduce. Now, let's look at the next one. Now, let me consider another higher angle. Let's say tan C. Let's say tan 315 degrees. Let's say tan 350 degrees. Now, how can we find tan 315 degrees? We have to read it, look for the angle along the x-axis. Now, don't forget that we are only specializing in acute angle, a special angle. So if you don't get a special angle, we will not use calculator for it. No, I'm not going to use calculator. You get it? I know this one, when we break it down, we're not going to get a special angle. But if you don't get special angle, I'm not going to use calculator for it. Yes. So let's see how we can get an angle along the x-axis. Yes. Now, don't forget, here start from 0, 90, 180, 270. So which means 215. I need to read from here up to here. Now from here up to here is 270. Don't forget that it's in the anti-clockwise direction. 270. Now 270, we are looking for 315. Let me subtract 270. Now what angle are we supposed to add to this one to get 315? Now let me say 360 minus 315 minus 270. Now we are going to get 45. It means when you add 45 to 270, I'm going to get 315. So let's say 45 will be from here up to here. So if here is 45, then from here up to here is supposed to give us what? 315 degrees. You understand? Now, where is the acute angle? Where is the angle along the x-axis? Now, this one is the angle along the x-axis. Now, if here is 45, it means this angle is also 45. You understand? So it means that the angle along the x-axis is what we are looking for. So it means that our tan 315 degrees is the same as tan 45. Tan 45. Yes, because tan 45 is the angle along the what? The x-axis in the fourth quadrant. Now 350 degrees is between 270 and then what? 360. It is in the fourth quadrant. And don't forget that in the fourth quadrant, tan is negative. Only cosine is positive. Now from here, what is tan 45? Tan 45 is 1. So the answer will give us negative 1. Tan 45 is 1 because the 45 is an acute a special angle. You see, I'm solving all this in you get it? Now, so we reduce this one to this one. Yes, so when they give you a question, the computer question, you're supposed to make sure that you break it down to a special angle before. Yes. Now, let's look at another one. Let me look at a very big angle. Let's look at a very big angle. Now, D. Now, let me solve this one before. Now, D. Let me solve for cos 210 degrees. Now, let's say if we have cos 210, how are we going to read it? Now, let me find cos 210. Now, so this is our Cartesian plane. We have to read 210 in the anti-clockwise direction. So don't forget, this side is 90. This side is what? 180. 180. Now 180, we need what? We need 30 to add up to 180 before we can get 210. Now, so let me say from here to here is 30. So which means from here to here will give us 210 degrees. You get it? Now look at this particular quadrant. What is the angle along the x-axis? The angle along the x-axis is this one. Don't forget, this one's at the x-axis. The angle along the x-axis is 30. So it means that if I have cos 210 degrees, we are going to get the same as cos 30. Cos 30. Now let's look at something. Now this particular 30 is in the third quadrant, and in the third quadrant only tan is positive. In the third quadrant only tan is positive, so the sign is supposed to be negative, so I need to negate the sign. The cos is supposed to be negative, I need to negate it. So you're going to have negative. Now what is cos 30? Cos 30 is root 3 out of 2. Cos 30 is root 3 out of 2. Now, so this is how we can find it. Now, let's look at this particular question. Let's look at this particular question. Now, we are to find cot 150. Now, we are going to find cot 150. Now, what is cot 150? Don't forget that the cot is the same as 1 over tan. So, tan 150, tan 150.